everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Cosmos and Commerce. I am Michele Cook, and joining me, as always, is the fabulous Janis Francis. Janis, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic, Michele. Doing great. Ready to dive into another great conversation with our amazing guest. And today we've got someone very special lined up, right?
Absolutely. We
Yes.
have the incredible Rachel Scofield with us, the powerhouse behind Pickerington Online. We're going to chat about her journey, the ins and outs of running an online city magazine, and maybe even a few fun surprises along the way. But first, Janis, I have to ask you, would you rather have an endless supply of Cosmos or an endless supply of breaking news stories?
That's a tough one. I'll take both. Now let's go
Drink
with it.
water.
Yeah, let's go with both. After all, what's better than sipping a good drink while you're diving into a great story, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of stories, let's get Rachel in here to tell us hers.
Great choice, Janis.
Yeah,
All right. Let's not keep Rachel waiting. Without
right.
further ado, welcome to the show, Rachel.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes,
We're
we're
so happy to have you. Yes. So let's dive right into it, Rachel. What inspired you to start Pickerington Online? Do you have a background in journalism?
Yes, I do. I have a bachelor's degree in newspaper reporting from Ohio State and cognate area of photography. And then I worked for all three of the now defunct Pickerington community papers. And then what started it was I was helping for BSA Troop 256 get their local government merit badge. It's something that they need in order to get an Eagle Scout rank. And we were talking about issues that were happening in the community at that point. And among those were the bond issue to build a new junior high. And also, the city of Pickerington was talking about putting sidewalks along Columbus Street. And these kids who were not looking forward to local government class were very excited because those were things, all of a sudden, politics affected them. And they went to the crowded junior highs, and a lot of them actually walked along Columbus Street in the dark to get to Ridgeview. Mm. And so they got passionate and asked to go to a city council meeting so that they could talk to the officials directly and say, hey, yeah, I don't want to walk in the mud and the snow and the grass in the dark to get to school each morning. And they did go and speak. And then afterwards, I spoke with a lot of the officials there because I knew them from reporting on Pickerington in the past. And they started talking about not having a local news, which I knew, but it had affected them in terms of how much they could tell the public. And then I started thinking about on social media, which is now the go-to of how people get their news. Mm. A lot of things, people, events, fundraisers were not being promoted. Maybe those organizations do not have a very good social media presence, and so they were not getting their information out. Secondly, people, in terms of news articles, government, that kind of stuff, schools were filling that gap by making up rumors or taking a rumor and turning it into gossip, and that can lead to dangerous consequences, people getting hurt. And so I wanted to make sure that the truth, what was actually happening, was being broadcast instead of this mob mentality that can come from hearsay online. So a combination of promoting the good and the people and preventing the bad, the rumors that eventually lead to hurt or misunderstandings, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's how Pickerington Online came to be.
Awesome. Okay. So is that like the story that really like solidified, I'm going to start my own business? Or was there another pivotal moment?
Yeah, I asked my husband, Jim, he's an accountant in town, do you think people would read local news if we published it? He said, you can give it a try. And so that's how we ended up starting a business.
I love
Yeah.
it. So was that your very first story, or if not, what was your very first story?
I've actually been doing reporting since elementary school. Let's see, my first published story in an actual newspaper, maybe Ohio State's Lantern. I did a story on their tax accounting team that was competing nationally. And then I got a regular beat covering local school government. And then I guess after graduating from Ohio State, I was given the city beat for Grove City. And then I got moved around to different suburbs. And that's how, so I don't know what my first story would be. Officially, I guess my first paid one was probably covering Grove City.
When did you first publish your first story for Pickerington Online? When did you kick that off?
We started actually during COVID, so almost 5 years.
Jeez, it's been that long. Wow.
And you started the print version.
Yes, not very many people know about the print version. There were several members of our community who said that they don't like reading news online. They want to have a paper version, especially the senior community.
Yep.
And so we started the print version about 2 years after the online one. And that is through subscriptions. People buy a year subscription for $30 and it's delivered to their door. And there's places around town that also have them, like Humble Crate.
Yeah, I love having people take them all the time.
Yeah. All of our clients sit there and read them while they're waiting.
Right.
Do you have any employees or other writers that help you out, or are you a one-woman show?
I do have other employees. I have someone who actually does the layout for the print edition. And then I have interns who, high school and college age, who write a lot of the feature stories. Feature stories being the ones that are not necessarily covering government or anything. It's more the fun, happy, come see this play, this person has a new book, that kind of stuff. And then I also have the Messenger, actually. The Columbus Messenger still has papers, just not in Pickerington. And they've shared some of their stringers with us. A stringer is a freelance reporter who's tied to a newspaper. And so they've shared their stringers as well. However, the number of stories we publish is based on how much advertising revenue we have to pay the different reporters and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So is that how you generate revenue, is from advertising? Or is there other ways you make money?
Yes. Right now it is only through advertising. We do have subscriptions for the paper copies, but those pretty much just pay for the printing. There's not a lot of profit in the print version. It's mostly from the online advertising is
okay.
How Pickerington Online is funded.
So
but I mean, there are other options.
If somebody wanted to advertise, what is like the rate? Like it's a range.
Yeah, it's a range based on whether they want to be at the top of the page, if they want to be just on certain topics, like you could advertise just on the police reports, which is not a bad deal because that's a very popular part of the online paper.
It is.
And then there's some people who just want to be in the print edition. And the rates go from $50 to, I think the highest is $500, just depending on where you want to be on the page or if you want to be on both. Or anyway, so there's a range for people who want to advertise.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
What's been the most unexpected challenge you've faced since starting Pickerington Online? How'd you overcome it?
I don't know how unexpected it is, maybe a little bit. The Pickerington community, the three major governments here, the school board, the city, and the township, Violet Township, none of them have a communications officer. Pickerington Schools had one for a while, but not anymore. And so basically, without a communications officer, a PR person, they don't have anyone sending information or even easily accessible to ask information from. For instance, let's say the Career Center. They have a PR person who is sending me press releases, I don't know, every other day.
Oh, wow.
So you'll see a lot of coverage from the Career Center. Not only are they doing awesome things, but I'm hearing about it. And all I have to do is copy and paste that. And it's now I'm not getting anything from Pickerington. But okay, real quick. The cheerleaders won the state championship.
Yes, they did. Yes.
I tried for 2 months to talk to somebody there to give me like just some pictures and hey, yay, we're really proud of these girls, and nobody responded.
I saw it on social media.
Yeah, some of the parents and stuff posted they were proud of their kids.
Yeah. And then
they even went to the state house and met the governor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nothing that I could get from them.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. Yeah.
That is a pretty big challenge then to overcome when you're not getting any communication from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's something we can all work on as community leaders, right? Talk about a unique or creative project you've undertaken with Pickerington Online that you're particularly proud of.
Okay, yes. We have a lot of partnerships with the Pickerington Violet Township Historical Society. We've helped out them and they've helped out us. And so a lot of times we will do tie-in stories or projects with whatever they're featuring at the museum that month. Mm-hmm. And two of them really stick out. One time they were talking about local legends, and they, along with the auditor, who also happened at the time, the county auditor, did a map of different places around the county that were supposed to be haunted. We went to those different locations and we made a slideshow that we ended up putting on YouTube, along with all the local legends and stories, ghost stories. And that was fun and popular. But probably the most popular project we did with them was that they were celebrating the 1970s in Pickerington. And so with information from their archives, along with yearbooks that the library has, we put together a slideshow of 1970s Pickerington. And it was very popular, and it was set to 1970s movies, and it also had like popular culture things thrown into that. And I'm looking forward to more collaborations with the Historical Society. I think even though we're news, it's fun to look back in the history as well.
Peggy is fun to work with stuff like that. And I remember that 70s thing with her dressed in her hippie outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, standing outside
Yeah. So how does Pickerington Online contribute to the local community, and what role do you see it playing in the future?
We do help a lot with getting the word out there for especially current events. Our numbers boost way up when it comes to a holiday or something, because we have the information of when the parade's going to start and that where you need to be. And even like Flag Day, we had a large, I guess that's Memorial Day. People want to know where the things are. And so we're very helpful that way in terms of letting you know where the community events are without having to figure out on Facebook who is the one hosting it and blah, blah, blah. But we also have been lucky in that we helped different fundraisers. There was a little girl whose family was with Columbus Hardscapes, actually. Yeah. They were trying to raise money to build a back patio because she had a form of cancer that was light sensitive. Mm. And so they built a patio that was covered, and Columbus Hardscapes actually took money to try to help with that project and to create sort of a side nonprofit where they would do other projects for families with special needs that they could build.
I didn't know.
And then there's a couple other times that's happened. There was a girl at North who needed an assistance dog because she had a disease that left her mobility challenged. And we did a story on that. And Sorzo Coffee actually took the story also and said, okay, we'll also have a fundraiser. You buy this, whatever, we'll give the money to. And they were able to That's happened quite a few times, actually, where we've had people with fundraisers or needs that we were able to bring attention to so that more people in the community could help out with.
You also organized so many volunteers and everything for Arbor Day, right?
Earth Day,
Earth Day,
yes.
yes.
So, one of the things about writing and covering news is that sometimes you get swept up in the stories and stuff like that. And so, a couple of years ago, in terms of Earth Day, my daughter, who also for me, there was a creek cleanup at Walnut Creek. They actually do it every year at the Metro Park. And we wrote about that. And she said, let's do that. All right. So in October, we're wading in the creek, collecting tires and stuff. And she said, we need to do this in Pickerington too. So the city already had an Earth Day for its employees. They like take the morning off and they pick up litter around. So we asked to join the city of Pickerington's cleanup, but to offer it at a time when community members didn't have to take off work. And so that was 2 years ago that we started that, and we had 20 people show up that first time. And then we started working with Combustion and Coyote Run. And last year we had 100 volunteers.
Right.
And then this year we had 150.
Right.
Flyers Pizza came and gave us free pizza. We've partnered with Green Columbus, so they give us all the supplies. And that got to be really big. And we were not only able to collect litter in the parks and stuff, but we've also were able to remove invasive species, trees, plants that shouldn't taking over from this year. We did Sycamore Park. And David Haig from Coyote Run, he led that effort. He's been working there year round. He's removing the invasives. And so that day on Earth Day, our volunteers went and planted hundreds of trees in the places where he had removed the invasives. So if you go down to Sycamore Park by the covered bridge you'll see that it's a lot clearer woods. It's not all brush and stuff. And hopefully next year, then the wildflowers will be able to come up through. Anyway, so yeah, Earth Day has been very successful, and we hope to keep doing that. Yep. We also volunteer, especially my interns. We help out a lot of different community groups throughout the year. We helped with the chocolate hop in the village. We also help run Wizard Fair. We actually, with Peggy, last year we started Wizard Fair, and we didn't know what it was going to be like. For those who don't know, it's a Renaissance festival. We started in Pickerington's Victory Park as part of Fairfield County's Wands and Wizards weekend. And the first year we had 1,400 people show up. And it looks to be even bigger this year. Mm-hmm. And my volunteers, they dressed up, they led the kids in games. The city has us at Halloween. We run a ghost tour. Last year was also like a scavenger hunt, murder mystery. We do a lot of community service. Probably every month there's some organization that we help out, Pickerington Online and its interns.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing about that. So I want to switch back to business, and I want to know how your online magazine has positively impacted a local business, or maybe even a business individual. But has your story done major things for their business?
That's a good question. I've never actually followed up. We do promote some businesses, especially if they're doing fundraisers. We're careful though, because if we promote one, then 10 others will want to join. And at some point we can't just do it for free. Well, we can do PR stuff, but that's a hard one. Because
I know you published a story for my business for the grand opening, and it was really great. A lot of our clients are sitting reading your magazine, and they're like, oh, they're right here. They're in this magazine. It was awesome. Thank you for that.
I did that because I consider you a friend.
You don't want a whole bunch of other businesses coming and asking you. We're doing a trade. I am interviewing Rachel for the podcast, and she published a story for me.
Okay, that'll work. All right. We actually did a story for you about your grand opening, which I heard was a huge success. I don't know how much Pickerington Online had anything to do with that, but how do you feel it helped your business?
Yeah, I'm sure it did, but we had 200 people probably at least. We at least had 100 because we had 100 swag bags that we gave out in the first 23 minutes. But
Wow.
we had to start a line. We had to lock the door before we even started because people were like bum rushing us. But yeah, we estimate 200 people came in 2 hours. So it was very
It was big, it
successful.
was crowded. It was a great ribbon
Yes.
cutting.
Yes. Thank you for promoting that for me.
You're welcome.
Okay. Can you share a memorable story or article that significantly impacted the community or garnered some unexpected attention?
The one that got the most unexpected attention, and is actually the most popular story we've ever printed, was just a couple months ago. We shared about Blacklick Woods having their new canopy tour open.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool because we go to Blacklick Woods and we were waiting for it. So it was mostly something that I knew my family would care about. Maybe somebody else would. And it went like crazy. Everybody wanted to know about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that surprises me because I would think it would have been something, I don't know, less wholesome, more gritty crime kind of thing that would be the number one article. But luckily it was something good.
I like to read about good things and things to do in their community. And that's like very cool because a lot of people go to that park around
Yeah.
here.
And it's a
Yeah.
kind of,
Have you guys seen it yet?
yeah,
Michele did. I haven't been yet.
it's neat. It's going to be really cool
Yeah.
in a couple years when all the foliage grows back. It's right now.
Yeah, right now it's got this mud pit.
Yeah. I was like, they should have a little animal like sanctuary so that you can look at all the animals.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
When you had that Blacklick story come out, how do you measure if it's successful or not? How do you measure if a story is successful?
Actually, a couple ways. If people are sharing it, they want other people to know about it or say, hey, let's go to this. So a lot of it has to do with social media comments.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just the statistics that I can see from my website saying, okay, this many people were on this site and actually read the article instead of just clicking through it, or it tells how long someone is actually reading it instead of clicking on it by mistake.
Right.
And so that one people really cared about. They were sharing it, they were reading it, and I think that they actually had a bunch of crowds. Again, you're talking about businesses. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know how much Pickerington Online played into that, but a lot of people did go, and it's still busy. You have to figure out what time you want to go there to enjoy it.
Yeah, I know when I went, we had to like park on the side of the road because it was so busy.
Really?
It's brand new when you went. I mean,
Yeah.
like maybe
like
the
the
novelty
opening
will wear off, and then the people that go there daily will have more of a time to enjoy it.
Sort of definitely off topic. Blacklick Woods has done a lot of cool stuff recently. I mean, they have the lights over the walkway, and anyway, it's a good park. We're lucky to have it so close.
I haven't been there in ages. We used to go ride the bike and run there a lot, and I just haven't been there probably in years, probably since even before
Yeah.
COVID.
Their main trail,
Yeah, we definitely will, for sure.
Okay, what's your favorite police report?
In Pickerington, I won't say where, but anyway. And while she was inside, he decided to light up some marijuana. But because of the way this chair kept hitting that canister, it had busted a hole in it. And so when he lit up he blew up the inside of the car.
Oh my God.
He had some burns on his hands and stuff, but he was okay. But
that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's not the one that I was thinking, but that's a good one.
Oh, what one were you thinking of?
Wasn't there one where somebody threw dog poop on somebody? Remember that one?
Oh yeah, someone bought online for $100 a Lincoln
Yes,
Continental,
yes, yes.
and then they went to the appointment to get the Lincoln Continental, and they decided that it was not worth $100, and so they wanted their money back. And the person said, "No, you take it. I'm not giving your money back." So then the person dropped their pants and
Oh, that's it wasn't dog
pooped
poop.
on the bumper.
That's right.
It wasn't dog
That's
poop.
right. That's right. That's right.
And sock or something, I can't remember for sure, and wiped. And then they took that sock and smeared it across the car and left it stuck on the car. And yeah, that one was something else.
Oh my
I want to
God.
know how you just poop on demand like that.
How do you position yourself to, I don't know. He was talented.
There's a follow-up story there.
Yeah, that takes a true talent for that. Oh my God.
Did you see, there was one recently, and I'm thinking it was Heritage, where the guy called police because his keys had been stolen.
Yeah.
And then they brought it up on surveillance, and he just put it in his pocket.
You just look in your pocket. Oh my
Drunk
God.
people.
That's hilarious.
I think they might overserve at Twins Taverns.
Or they're generous with their pours, right?
Or else that's the last stop for everyone.
Yeah.
Is that the one by Subway?
No.
Is Twins the one by
Twins is
Subway?
the end one by CVS.
The one in the end, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heritage is the one by Subway.
Wow.
How do you manage your time between being a journalist and a business owner, and what practices help?
I have tried to write things down, and then the people say, I didn't say that. And so, being on email, I know that what I wrote down, I didn't have to write it down because I copied and pasted it directly from their email. And I also can go back and I email all this I've interviewed to make sure that I've covered them correctly in terms of being organized as a reporter. In terms of being organized as a business owner, I've actually learned a lot from your podcast, actually, the whole like visualization of where you want to be and setting your goals. And so
Manifesting.
once yeah, manifesting. And so once a month sitting down and saying, okay, this is what we want to accomplish this month, and then making it happen. I guess we haven't done that more than a month at a time, but it's small steps instead of looking at the big picture. Doesn't seem so overwhelming. I also do a lot of writing down in a day planner to try to track of, okay, this is coming up, you need to be here, that kind of stuff. I need to, but it's something about writing it down makes it easier for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've got a paper planner.
Can you share a personal habit or routine that contributes to your success? Maybe you just did, but maybe there's another one.
Okay, this is probably a little weird, but I have an aunt who's lived in Pickerington her whole life, and she's probably my number one reader. And if I have days without having a fresh news story, she calls and nags me. She also nags me if the thing, like I could have any impact on what the criminals were doing or alleged. But so actually she helps a lot and keep me motivated and on board and
Keeping you on your toes, isn't she?
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sure she will if she's your number one fan. She's gonna
Absolutely
eat up all the content.
She is, and she's good at. She's also like, know that I found a typo on this page, and that link is not working, and so she also is a
a free editor.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What advice would you give to someone looking to start their own online publication?
That's tough because actually in Fairfield County, there's another one on the other side. It's like a independent Lancaster newspaper and had about the same readership as ours. And they have been in business a year and they just announced that it's too much work and they're closing.
Oh.
And it is a lot of work. So I guess my advice would be is to, before you invest too much time and effort on your own, build up a community of supporters who will help you, because it is impossible to do it all on your own. And at first, you're not going to have the resources to hire too many people. So again, trades or people who just are excited about what you want to do and want to help by volunteer for an online newspaper or publication, I think.
Yeah, I think
that's good advice.
That's kind of the case for any business.
That's true.
I would think.
Yeah. I know if I didn't have a bunch of friends telling people about me, I would be nowhere.
That's
All
the
right.
same. So, Rachel.
Yeah.
It's time for our quick fire round. We'll ask you some quick questions and you tell us the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is the book that you've most given as a gift, or the book that made the biggest difference for you?
I did not read a lot of nonfiction. In terms of fiction, there's a book called The Night Circus that I've recommended quite a few. It's a story, Victorian, and it's really entertaining. And I think it's going to be soon, actually. So The Night
Circus.
All right.
Okay.
What purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life?
When one of the kids was in middle school, I bought a spice from Diley. And it's so nice having fresh spices that you can go and get out of the backyard. And it makes more of a difference than dried spices.
Yes.
Anyway, so I would say
I love a
fresh
garden.
spices.
I've got an herb garden. I love that. I've got my own herb garden right outside my back door. Just go out and pick my oregano.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. So what is an unusual...
The oregano and thyme seem to live every year. Oregano and thyme seem to come back each year. Most of the others we need to replant.
Chives. My chives always come back. Yeah. Chives for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't bring them in all the time in the winter though, and I probably should. So what's an unusual habit or an absurd thing that you love?
There's this, it was canceled last year, but there's this international scavenger hunt for charity called Gish, the world's, anyway, basically the largest, it's an international scavenger hunt. And you have puzzles that you have to solve, and they sometimes lead to other puzzles. And it also, they have, it's all for charity. And so some charity or going out and dressing up in a particular costume and handing out food and I did that with my family. They came up with some really creative, fun things. Like one of the things was one year a challenge was literal Olympics. So they used the example of they had, and my kid came of doing steeplechase. So he made a church steeple he wore, and then his siblings ran after him, and you got points for each submission, and you could win a prize. Or the big thing was that there was a book that you could make if you were creative enough or had the best whatever. You could make the desk calendar, the book, and we never got mates did. But so the Gish scavenger hunt, I think, is our unique thing.
That sounds fun.
Oh, one of the things was you had to make a gingerbread dominoes track. So we had to make little gingerbread people and line them up and then just...
Oh, wow. That's fun. Fun thing to do all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment. I'm proud of a lot of they did. Probably Earth Day. To get 150 volunteers is a pretty big deal, I think.
It is a big deal. And it grew so much from 21 year to 150 the next, right? Awesome. So what's your current passion project?
Well, I talked about how I have interns who go out and do community service, and they also write for me and stuff like that. And some of the writing has been influential. For instance, one of the writers a couple of years ago, they were only in junior high at the time, wrote about what it was like to be in the crowded halls of Ridgeview. And I think that people understand more about the bond issue than anything about, hey, it costs this much about your taxes, and there's the numbers. Yeah. Having the numbers was not as influential as having concrete examples of what those numbers mean in real life. So I'm really proud of these kids. They've got a reputation as being very responsible, reliable volunteers. They're just not doing it for hours. They may not show up. They will be there. They will do what you want. And they also do great writing and articles. I would like to expand it. For one thing, a lot of my interns are graduating and moving away. But second of all, I think that concept could be used with other businesses. So I think I'm going to approach the city and the chamber, or the schools in the chamber, about creating a chamber internship program where we match students with the industries that they might be interested in trying out. And they also could also participate in the same fundraiser or charity, nonprofit volunteering. I just want to expand my volunteer program. And I also think that the kids they not only, in my case, they get published, but they also have stuff to write on their resume. But kids getting actual businesses or marketing or that kind of stuff that they want to go into, I'd like to see that more, to build a bigger relationship between the chamber and the school district. But I haven't talked to either one of those yet, so I don't know if maybe you want to publish that or not.
Hey, this might be the thing that gets it going.
Yeah, we can keep that. We should keep that.
I think so. What is one skill you would like to master?
Speaking, communicating other than written wise. I'd like to be a better public speaker, or even not get so awkward when talking about myself. I'd like to be more comfortable speaking. Writing is so much easier for me because I can spend the time figuring out exactly what word best covers what I'm thinking at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I often have gaps when I'm speaking because, like, okay, that word is not quite right. I need to describe what I'm trying to express more succinct. And it just, so I guess public speaking.
I get that. Rachel, what was your first job?
I grew up in West Virginia near a small college, and my first job was working in their cafeteria. Nice. At one of the dorms.
Okay.
Cool. I rode my bike over the hill to the other side of the hill to work in the cafeteria, and then rode my bike back.
Awesome. Fun. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, I'm hoping that I will just be, the Pickerington Online will be going strong, and that I will just be covering city council and township, because they are working really hard and they're misunderstood a lot of times. Then all the other stories, I have somebody else that I trust handling those. And a couple people have suggested that I have a physical location, like an office in downtown Pickerington or the village. Maybe that could be fun. I'd like to have a building where maybe there is an office for Pickerington Online, but the main floor would be more of a gallery to showcase local artists. I mean, you have a lot of that at Humble Crate, but more like gallery with
Yeah.
photos on the wall with
Yeah.
or pictures and sculptures and that, because we have a lot of performing artists and visual artists and novelists in Pickerington, and
Yeah.
yeah, we need
So
to,
we can
as a
manifest.
city, promote our talent. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
man. So the universe, Rachel wants a space in the old village of Pickerington. Maybe I can help with that. So
Yeah.
Rachel, do you have a
Yeah,
pump up song? If you're getting ready to do something, do you have a song that pumps you up?
we listen to a lot of show tunes in this house. And so there's a song at the end of Rent that I like.
Sing it.
And I can't even
Sing
think
it
of the
for
name
us.
of it right now, but
I'm just kidding.
or Mama songs from Mamma Mia. My youngest plays Mamma Mia soundtrack quite a bit, and so all those songs that ABBA made are pretty good.
They are.
But
Okay.
Since we are called Cosmos and Commerce, what is your drink of choice?
well, especially this time of year, it'd be mojitos because I can go in the backyard, get the mint,
Oh,
and
a fresh one.
Yep. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Love
Nice.
it.
and yeah, and if you try it with like fruity, like pineapple rum or something like that, you can mix it up. And anyway, yeah, mojitos.
Okay. We
Yeah.
could go for that too, right,
Yeah,
Michele?
yeah. We'll have to go over to Rachel's.
Okay, Rachel, last question. Would you rather have an unlimited access to exclusive breaking news stories from the local community or have the ability to instantly grow your readership by 10,000 dedicated followers overnight?
I think that probably the increasing the readership, because that would make the revenue allow me to hire more reporters to cover more, and it would be like, this is endless cycle. The more viewers you have, the more stories you can do that have more viewers and that kind of stuff. So I think starting with the readers, and then filling their needs from there.
I love that.
Yes. Rachel,
Yes.
Rachel, tell us how people can get a hold of you.
The easiest way is to go to Instagram or Facebook and message Pickerington Online through there. Or you can email me at editor@pickeringtononline.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
This episode of Cosmos and Commerce. Yeah. And we're heading gung ho into season 2.
Yes, Rachel's our first guest of season
First guest
2.
for season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you all for the rest of the season. Until next time. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm Janis Francis.
I'm Michele Cook, and thank you, Rachel Scofield, for being our guest.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.